Write it and we'll do it live. Welcome aboard, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. We know you're out there. What else are you doing on Tuesday night? Come on in. Jump in that chat. The chat's open. The Mr. Stockwell 81 2012 says hi. Hi there, Stockwell. Thanks for listening. Thanks for jumping on board. You are first today.
Well, yes.
And of course, everybody and their brother is suddenly going live. This is crazy. Shut up, Chrome. We have two. We were going to have two broadcasts today, but I deleted my room.
That was going to be interesting.
Joe D. McPhee is alive. He says, evening, Joe. Hope you're doing okay. Joe Cotton says, hi, Krista. The rest of us are nothing. We're nothing. We don't count.
Is that 4K you're finally coming to us in? Well, is that 4K you're finally coming in at? I can't tell. I'm watching on the TV, so.
That looks weird.
Looks good from here. What do you think, Joe? Let us know in the chat. How's it looking? Are we 5x5?
We have
Mark's either looking out in the distance or he doesn't want to watch.
1-2 is different from just respectfully not. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Joe says it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good, Joe. Thanks for listening, Joe. Appreciate you.
I have the insatiable need to eat. We haven't restarted the show, have we? I guess we should.
That happens every once in a while. The insatiable need to eat. Welcome aboard, everybody. Come on in. We have 21 people watching us right now on the crazy. And I need to jump over to Facebook and make sure that my page is public.
Yeah, normally I remind you.
It never is. There it is. You don't have to remind me. I just did it. Crazy day, Brian, not Brian. Yeah, Brian Langley says, love the pink hair.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Joe says, LMAO, the ticker about her.
Well, we should run the intro and then start it into the show then, I guess.
It is. Brian Langley says, Terry Fright Owl is in the house. Says, here I am again. Benny Richard, thanks for listening. Benny says, Heller. That's 2 R's and 2 L's.
Not holler.
Not holler? No, it says Heller.
Heller.
We are going to run the opening now. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is the Indie Vault podcast. So for Tuesday night, the 13th of October, 2020. That's not it.
Oh. That surprised baby surprised me.
We're just full of surprises. Oh, where is it? There you are. No, that's
Next
not
up
you.
on Baby Talk.
Next up on Baby Talk.
How they're made, where they come from, what they cost, and what they're going to do for you.
The difference between formula and milk from the farm. Oh, where are you? That's the ending. There it is. Here we go. Welcome to the Indie Vault podcast. Here's our opening. Plug yours.
Hello.
Comics are awesome.
I'm the best. And I'm obviously still ill, so I'm not on camera this week, but still happy to be here. I'm watching on a delayed it's like about 5 seconds delay watching on my television, so I may be a little lost tonight. Yeah. Plus I'm medicated.
Highly.
Pleasantly medicated.
Pleasantly medicated. I am joined, as always.
Introduce yourself.
Who is that lady over there? Pink hair.
I am the Indie Princess. Also the host of Geekgasm. And I run IndieVote.com.
And that's Mr. Zimmerman. Explain yourself to these people.
Hey, everybody. Did you explain yourself to these people?
In the best way he can.
Yeah.
The best way you can. Hello, I'm medicated.
Yeah.
No, I'm very great. I'm medicated.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am an independent and alternative comics creator, author. I've done everything in the direct market that can be done, just about. And I currently run the Zim Geek channel here on YouTube. Please jump over and subscribe. That's ZIMMGEEK, where I do cartoon instructionals and sometimes talk about funny books. So, and of course, I'm part of the Indie Broadcast Network. So I'm very happy to be here tonight on this great Tuesday night. Also joining us for the broadcast for as long as he can stand it is Mr. Mark Darden. Mark, introduce yourself.
Mark Darden is in very good spirits right now. I'm Mark Darden, and I work in aviation, but on the side, I make comic books. I used to do stand-up and love superheroes, so I married those two together to make the Guano Guy. And currently, we're in the final days of the third Guano Guy Kickstarter campaign and hoping to hit that first stretch goal as we only just slid across the line 20 minutes ago, which was a wonderful relief.
Applause, applause.
In fact, the final
Congratulations.
contributor contributed and then went back and was like, oh, $3 shy? I'll go ahead and kick that $3 in. Which was very swell of them.
That'll help for your postage.
Very nice. Yeah, I got to throw some extra in there for that one.
CM Booze says, Randy, say sequential artwork. I don't understand why. LOL. I am a sequential artist. So I do art in sequences. Joe D. McPhee says, congratulations, Mark. Absolutely. Now we're looking forward to reading those books. Max Lee says, what is up? Max, that is the opposite of down. It's all good. JD Calderon is in the house as I'm back on the train. Hello, everyone.
JD.
Always good to be on the train. I hope that's
Great.
physical. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
That's not a metaphor for anything, is it?
Yeah, hopefully not. That's not the train you want to get back on.
Yeah. Well.
CM Booze says strawberry shortcake. Something's reminding him of strawberry short. I can't understand what that would be. Yeah, JD says it's nice. Congratulations, Mark. We went there already. Max says, what is up? We are there. CM Booze, LOL Randy has the coolest voice and should do cartoon voiceovers. I have no idea what you're talking. I would love to do that. I think that would be hilarious to do.
Yeah, Randy, I would totally go and do that with you. That would be a blast.
I bet it would. Yeah. I've done a few radio dramatizations that were hilarious too. Just a lot of fun to do. I was like 3 characters. We recorded the first 4 episodes of Flash Gordon. That was fun. I was like 4 characters at once. It was hilarious to do. Absolute blast.
That's really tough. Because
I had go ahead.
I mean, the switch between 3 is so tough. Sorry.
Yeah. We had the former mayor of Flint come in and be Prince Barron. So right during the water crisis. It was awesome. He had a good time.
Randy, I think that the big news this week, we talked about this, is that there's really no news.
There's no news.
I mean, there are things like, that we're going to talk about. Like, no one, like, everyone's been so quiet.
Well, Mark Darden hit his goal for Guano Guy. That's news. That just happened within the last 20 minutes.
Yes.
So my semester in school.
Just got it. It was nice to come on here and be able to say we're there.
Glad to have you on to say that too. That's
very excited for that to happen just in time.
See, I don't know if like Oh yeah, I mean, Lola says she's almost finished with the semester of school, but for me, I've been stationary on a sofa for the past week, so I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not sleeping. I'm barely awake anyway, but I do think that I know there are a lot of Kickstarters that start. There were a bunch of Kickstarters that started. I know that, but I didn't get a chance to. I can't see them all because I only have my phone and my tablet.
Which ones are those?
See, I can't remember the names now because they all got sent to me on my other tablet.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
there's like 4 or 5 that got started, which
cool.
you know.
And how come we don't have them on the show today, telling us about them?
Because no one promotes their stuff.
No one promotes their stuff. Joe D. McPhee says Guano Guy would be on saying we need more potato salad. Give till it hurts.
Yeah, one of the villains did want to fill every mailbox with mashed potatoes in time for the holidays. It was a Thanksgiving gag.
Cool. Stench is in the house. Stench Whackbacker. Stench, I hope you're doing well. Evening. And he says evening, Stench. It's got to be, way late at night over where you are right now. I believe he's in Norway.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
Stench is an excellent artist. He showed us some of his work off away from the show. He is incredibly good. JD says, I'm out. Good night, guys. The train has arrived. He's on the train.
Uh-oh. Hopefully he means he's getting on a physical train to go somewhere.
I'm sure he does.
Good.
CM Boo says, nice. CM Boo says, can't wait for The Last Ronin.
yeah, I'm excited for that too.
What's coming up with Last Ronin?
It's the TMNT book where 3 of the turtles are dead, and they're gonna make us wait to figure out which turtle that is getting vengeance for his brothers.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
No.
Okay. Ralph says goal. Absolutely. Ralph must be watching European football.
Or just football, as they would call it.
Or just football. Yep. Max Lee wants to know, does Guano Guy have a sidekick? Maybe.
He had a bunch of them, and the orphanage cut him off.
Maybe he could be called Shitty Lad.
And those sidekicks have gotten together, and they are on their way back.
Rogue Artistry says, love y'all. Got to work in the morning. Thanks, Rogue. Understood. Take care. Be safe. Stench says, doing not so hot. Oh, still on prison meals and sleep hygiene shot to hell. He spent his budget on comic books. So Stench is eating lightly for a little while.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, so that happens. That happens. You know, you got to get that.
We've all done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah. Ralph says, are all the movies going to direct streaming now? No. They're all being delayed again for another freaking year.
Yeah.
Just in the hopes that theaters come back. But there's a lot of them theater chains that are saying if we're not back by the first of the year, we ain't coming back at all. So, or some of them are saying they have barely enough money. I think it's AMC said that they have barely enough money to survive 2020, but they ain't going to make it into 2021 unless there's a drastic change. Stench Whackbacker says that Ralph Griffith, the future is now, man. Jason says, no news. What about the important news of Gal Gadot getting backlash because she was cast as Cleopatra? Everyone is going crazy. She should be ashamed of herself for accepting the role. LOL, sigh. I'm sure Mr. Moore is kidding. Jason.
Listen. What you guys don't know, and I'm going to give you guys information. It is 100% true. The only reason Gal Gadot got the role is because Scarlett Johansson didn't want it.
Well, not the only reason, though.
That's hilarious.
Not the only reason. She seems pretty befitting for it. She's got an elegant beauty to her.
Wonder why everybody's upset.
Because she's not the correct nationality to the character.
I guess I'd have to go back. Too bad Professor Lutkins isn't here to inform us on the details of Cleopatra.
Now I can inform you of the details of the old band Cleopatra. It's an all girls R&B group. Cleopatra.
Now Scarlett Johansson already faced where she was playing in Ghost in the Shell, and so there was already some backlash over that.
Mm-hmm.
Be curious if that experience played into not taking this role, or if it's just coincidental, something else going on.
I'll tell you what, they with all the movies that they've cast, Gal Gadot, all the other movies she's in, she's killed it. People have come after her this time. It's like, is no one sacred? Yeah, are we not gonna stand back and see what type of job she does first? Nope. Cancel.
I guess I'd have to go back into Cleopatra history, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't Egyptian to start with, was she?
I you know what? I believe that she's I would have thought she was Greek, but
Nine Realms says good evening.
Yeah,
good evening. Moden in the house. Yeah, Moden in the house. It's just guys.
Just us.
Sten says that Nine Realm Comics gives you applause. Nine Realm says the controversy is stupid. Cleopatra is green.
He meant Greek.
Greek.
Okay. Greek. Yes.
She was green when she began, but she learned. Got better.
Yeah, exactly. Jason says, I swear people have no effing lives. They have to find something to complain about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's not the correct nationality to play the role, so she's getting backlash. Yep.
I did really want to read off one of the questions.
Nine Realm says, hi, Stench. CM Boo says, the argument is, was she Greek or Egyptian? I think she's Israeli, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, Gal. Oh. All right. I'm going to read a question here for you, Randy, because I don't have graphics.
Do we have a question?
Yeah.
Huaping? Was that you?
Yeah, I have no idea what that was. It probably was. Let me see here. Hold on. All right.
Oh, Michael Oden is offering to come on to school us on the stupidity of the backlash behind Godot's casting. So,
yeah, sure, he can.
I'm sure he doesn't have to regale us with that. We already know that controversy is pretty dumb. So
we have a. I don't think she's gonna do a bad job. That's if she still wants to go after this.
No, Patty Jenkins is directing, so that's the main reason why she got it. Is Jenkins likes working with her, obviously, with the last two Wonder Woman films. So you go with what you know.
Yeah, that's. I was seeing that on another show where directors, like, they know they got an actor that will get the job done, is willing to make changes, or just like, what do you need? How can I play this role well for you to make make the movie great rather than being a pain? Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to go with that person?
It can't be any worse than John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. So it's all good. Yeah,
it can't. Or Sean Connery getting that operation so that he could sneak into the what was it? He went to infiltrate the Japanese.
Yeah.
That really, really good procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Plays James Bond.
So, the question we had is this gentleman wrote in, his name is John, and John wants to know why all the hate against digital indie comics. That's from John.
Why all the hate?
Yeah.
Why all the love?
I don't think I hate digital and any indie comics being digital. I don't. If you give me the choice between digital and physical, I'm gonna always tell you to buy physical media. I was just looking at something the other day where some company just recently went in again and modified the files of a game, and buy physical media, people. But yeah, I just prefer physical like items. I grew up in an era where we didn't have digital comics. You had it was in your hand, so that's how I like them. I don't necessarily hate the digital stuff. I'm just unfamiliar with it. I do have some books that are digital. But it's not the same to me. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
Oh no, I was just gonna agree with you. I like digitals if I'm traveling. It's real convenient to have stuff on a tablet or something, and I don't got to carry a stack of books with me through an airport. But any other time, I'd much prefer to have a book in my hand, and I like the individual comic over a trade. I find myself much more likely to read through a comic because it feels so digestible, and I feel like I accomplished something. So I might read 6 individual comics much faster than I'd read a trade, just because I don't know, there's something about them. I love the paper and the feel and something about them.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'd like to be able to put them on a rack and put them in a box and actually physically collect them, as opposed to have them digitally on your tablet. That you never know what could happen to that tablet, or that of course there could always be a fire or a flood or something that happens to the comics, but it's so much easier to destroy a digital file than it is a paper file. So all you got to do is hit the wrong button. Oops. Suddenly you have to pay for that comic all over again.
Yeah.
But I think our biggest complaint here on the show that we were talking about is that it's so easy to pirate digitally.
Yeah.
Than it is to pirate physically. Stinch Whackbacker says, if I'm to go exclusively digital, the book misses all physical action in bed. Yeah. John Martin says digital comics, hell, digital everything is too easy to pirate. Digital anything is too easy to pirate, which takes money away from the creators. Yes. Jason says, I don't enjoy digital comics. I don't buy digital comics. I don't hate them. I just don't prefer them over physical media in any way. But with that being said, they are necessary in today's market. I think they are, especially if you're crowdfunding and you want to save a little hassle in shipping for overseas clients that read digital. I'd be real happy to send a digital file then, but for the most part, I still prefer the physical copy, whether it's a thin 32-page book or comic or a big, thick book. There's nothing to me matches the 100-page super spectaculars that DC used to kick out, or the giant-sized treasury editions. That's just me speaking nostalgically, that I used to pick up as a kid, that were 100 pages and the sizes were like 10 by 15. Those were phenomenal reads back during those days. No matter what they printed, there's always picking them up. So Nine Realms says, hey, Dan. Ralph says, sometimes all that people see is their own bubble on the feed or on Facebook or YouTube. Algorithms and all. Yeah. You must be talking about how there doesn't seem to be anything happening.
I have to thank CM Boobs for donating $1 to my tip jar.
It looks like he donated a couple of dollars there.
Just
Double
one.
D's? Just one?
Yeah.
So did Double D's and XR and
those are old ones.
Did you throw a link to your tip jar in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Cool. There's a link in the chat.
And all those tips go toward her book.
They do.
Travis Gibb.
$5 I drink.
And what?
If you took $5 or more, I drink.
She has to do a shot.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Travis Gibb says, don't miss out on that sweet comicology money.
Yeah.
I got a whopping $3.74 last month. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to get that.
Great, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Ralph Griffith says digital is great for the lightweight, on-the-go student or younger fans. Yep. Being trained to take things on the screen. And Stin says piracy is a service problem. Gabe says Gabe Newell. I'm not sure who Gabe Newell is. I'm sorry, Stinch. If someone could swoop down from the sky, solving the bad share of file sharing, something as integral on or to the web, I'll wait. Sorry, I slaughtered that comment there. Stockwell says, can't wait to read Guano Guy since I just backed it. That's right. We can pull up that campaign.
Thank you.
Just let me know. Varian. We can pull that up. We can pull that up at any time.
Like, wait,
There we are.
Like, I don't have any.
Yeah. And it's a little higher. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I'm sure it'll catch up.
Yeah.
A little over
caught up.
62 backers. 3 days to go. Only 3 days to go. Tell us about it, Mark.
About the comic, the Guano
Yeah.
Guy?
Yeah.
I mean, this
do the pitch.
It's pretty wild. I think of it as Seinfeld with superpowers, or Deadpool if it wasn't so violent, if it was just the funny. Or somebody else related it is the Tick crossed with the Batman 60s show. And that's pretty darn accurate. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of silliness. I promise that this issue is at least 2% educational, at least. So it's good for kids.
Measure that out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and it's very silly, and it's an awesome break from the day. And yeah, I just think it's just great entertainment. Then there's nothing in it to make you feel bad. It's just great, fun, silly entertainment. It's like an old TV sitcom or some of those great cartoons that I enjoy, but on paper.
We should point out the campaign is Guano Guy number 3 plus 6 other Guano Guy comics.
How do we do it?
How do you do it?
Magic.
That's like getting 7 comics.
It is, and it's almost 200 pages, so it's almost like getting like 9 or 10 comics in today's market.
Yeah.
There's several 40 pagers in there. There's some 30-pager comics. We're working on it. And the current stretch goal, trying to get this free print to all the backers. Still about $4.50 short. I don't know if it could happen, but wow, I'd love to give those out if it could. This guy's energetic. Jeez. Get you open.
Like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean there's the main story, which is 18 pages, but then there's 4 short stories that comprise another 11 pages. So, I mean, you get bears going into space and the folly that ensues. You get zombies arguing and complaining about superheroes messing up them just trying to live. You got a threat writing agency that helps superheroes who just aren't that good at being witty. And you get Mr. Marvelous Man and his faulty attempts to help people as an overpowered idiot. And then you get the Guano Guy fighting ridiculous villains, more ridiculous than any Batman villain you've ever seen, and his alternative solutions for crime fighting.
Guys dressed like eggs.
Yeah, and they're talking financials too.
Awesome.
You got some famous old lions in there.
There's Marvelous Man.
Yeah, Mr. Marvelous Man. Just flying right over, not helping anybody. I love that image. I love the mascot that's just choking a guy out. It's pretty hilarious. You got zombies exchanging cows for humans. What other comics got all that?
Kyle's working in a sweatshop.
working in a sweatshop. Because, cows make a lot of stuff in this world.
Yeah. There's Space Bear.
Yeah, a lot of education about space in that one. Did you know that nothing grows in space?
Nothing.
And then that good threat writing one where the superhero finds he does not have a good quip to return fire.
How many different artists do you have working on the book?
So this issue had 5 artists and an additional 3 colorists, with me writing lettering. So a good slew of artists, plus 2 cover artists, and another colorist involved in that. So, yikes! All in all, that's like 10 artists on this book.
Yeah.
So you get a good smorgasbord of styles. I really like to find a lot of different people. So I've got that main artist that's going to be locked in issue after issue for as long as I hope he sticks around.
Yeah.
But then after that, there's always going to be this variety of really cool styles, just bringing different stuff.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, Tony Fierro did that Cosmic cover, and Ryan English of the VGs, if you happen to scroll up, did the cover that's Mr. Marvelous Man just strolling through the park, not even noticing the chaos as he's eating his cotton candy and enjoying his Guano Guy plushie.
Is that up ahead here? No.
Oh, I think it's all the way at the top.
All the way to the top?
All the way, yeah, there it is.
There he is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah. Cool.
That was a fun cover. Oh.
Sweet. And again, that's Guano Guy number 3 plus all 6 other Guano Guy comics. It's available on Kickstarter. Check it out. What else is up, Varian?
Sorry about that. All right. So there's a question here. I was trying to pull it up, but it was giving me all types of issues.
Stench says those 2% don't happen to be Eagle Scout tips, do they?
There's some good informational stuff that I'm slipping on in there.
Nine Realms says Guano Guy looks super fun. Backer number 2 here. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I am off for another adventure. Stay classy and get an education through Indie Volt. Take care, Michael. We'll be here. You can always catch us in the archives. We'll always be on YouTube. Stench says goodbye, Nine Realms. So there he goes. Go ahead, Varian.
So this next one is from Marcus, and Marcus wants to know what's the big deal with publishing comics anyway? All he sees is a bunch of people printing books themselves, going to conventions, and selling them. That's pretty much a statement from Marcus. I guess Marcus. The reason people want a publisher is probably because they want a distribution deal. They want protection that a good publisher can provide. Now I'm a publisher, but very I haven't published much. Compared to Randy, who's I don't know. I think Randy, you've published probably over 200, 300 things now.
At least. Yeah, I stopped keeping count.
Did you ever keep count?
No, not for very long. No. I did have somebody did a compendium of stuff that people had done, that somebody actually kept count of everything, like all of the lettering jobs, all of the writing jobs, all of the penciling jobs, all the inking jobs, and brought it in just to show me one time. And I was astounded at the amount of time that it had to have taken to write all that crap down. I said, I didn't really do all of that, did I? And I'm going through and looking at it and going, dude, I said, where in the world did you dig all this stuff up from? Holy crap. But yeah, there was a while there I was freelancing independently all over the place. So yeah, did a lot of stuff. Print a lot of things. I print myself because then I know who to blame if something goes bad. So that's my big main reason why that and I can get along with the editor easier. So all the other editors that I've tried to work for in the past, some of them are really good. Some of them were a little sketchy. So like I said, now I know who to blame if I print myself. Plus, I was outside of the direct market there for a while when I was doing the Flint Comics newspaper. I printed 100 copies of that over the last 10 years that we circulated around in our county, 10,000 copies. That was advertiser supported. So you could, for a while there here in Genesee County in the middle of Michigan, you could just walk right up to a red newspaper box and pick up a funny paper once a month. That was a lot of fun to do. So that was real rewarding, reinstilled my love for comics. It was all good.
And I was able to get a hold of one of those.
You were in a couple of them.
Yeah.
Whenever you made deadlines. Anyway.
Yeah, because me and my deadlines. I mean, I'm gonna get the book. Don't worry. I mean, it's a strip, guys. It's what 3-4 panel gag.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still blowing deadlines, and so it was weird because I would get them to Randy like the night of the deadline. Here you go. Here's mine. Here's the paper. He's got the paper probably laid out. You got everything organized where it's supposed to be. And here I come with this 4-panel gag.
Yeah, it's just a matter of filling holes.
Yeah.
So at that point, had enough left for your strip. Knew it was coming. So when it got there, just put it in. And I think there was a couple times there I had to do a quick coloring job on them too, because you send them to me in black and white.
Yeah. Get a little feedback. Don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, a little kickback from somewhere.
Now, let me see here. Oh, my question. I have to close that. Sorry, guys. Again, doing this from my sofa while being medicated is a new experience. It's kind of like listening to radio. Everyone knows your name.
and we want to thank all of our Indie Volt Radio listeners right now. I know you're not around the figures to tell us the numbers, Varian, but we appreciate each and every one of you listening all throughout the world.
Yeah, and I said briefly on Sunday Funnies that I know that we kind of shook things up a bit because I had to do some testing to the bandwidth, and now that I'm pretty sure that what I was getting before is accurate. Now we can bring back some of the other shows that people have enjoyed, bringing those back, rolling them back out slowly but expeditiously.
So yeah, if you're listening to Indie Volt Radio and suddenly the music stops and goofy people start talking, then you know what's happening. We're just kicking a show up. So let us know where you're from. The chat's wide open. If you can get a hold of us from any of the Facebook ramps or from the YouTube. So we're happy to hear from you in the chat.
And this one is from Amanda, and she wants to know if comics were ever truly hand-colored.
Truly hand-colored?
Yeah.
Probably not each individual copy.
No, well, I mean, that would be sucky. That'd be a sucky job. I'm guessing she means like the master art, the originals.
Yeah, there's been some really good comics shot off of watercolor works and painted books that have been just amazing. Moonshadow comes to mind by J.M. DeMatteis and I don't remember the artist, and I'm so sorry I don't, because it was a really amazing book that Marvel printed. There was a while there was a whole coloring system back before Photoshop sprung in that people were watercoloring on templates with there was kind of the black screen was on a transparency, and then everything else was blue lined on Bristol board, and then they were going through and doing hand colors in order to shoot off of that for the plates for the book. So yeah, there was a period there. I would say comics were hand colored for a while, and then Photoshop came over and spoiled everybody. You know, it's that Malibu coloring system, I think it was, that Marvel was so envious of, that really kicked it out. And all you see are shades of brown and purple and burnt orange and gray. So, as opposed to the old super bright, vibrant colors. The reason you had the old coloring system used to be CMYK color indications. You used to have people draw on photostats of the artwork, the color combination for each individual piece, and then they would have somebody go through and arrange it, because way back when in the early printing days, things were all an arrangement of dots. You had different dots representing different colors, and they were so small that standing back from it, it would all blend together, and not like modern technology that you see now. That's why if you go back and look at the first issue of the Hulk, the first issue of the Hulk, he was gray, and then in some panels he was yellow, and some panels he was kind of a goofy looking brown, and they had a really hard time maintaining that gray tone, and it was much easier to maintain a green tone. That's why the Hulk is green to this day.
Mm.
Is that it was much easier for the hand separation color indications to hit green consistently than it was to hit gray. So the Hulk is green. And that's why you saw so many of these characters run around in primary colors, was because it was easy to indicate and to color now. Unlike today, where you have a complete palette of varying colors, and because there's such a big difference. And again, here's a problem with coloring digitally. There's such a huge difference between coloring digitally and actually seeing it printed on the paper. You lose a couple of shades of vibrancy when you go from the computer screen to the paper, even if you're using super slick, bright white paper. And there are some phenomenal colorists out there who know how to compensate for that. And that's why I'm in like constant awe anytime I see anything from Kyle Baker, because Kyle understands how the coloring system works going from digital to print. Peter Cimetti, who does Alterna Comics, knows how to do that incredibly well and take a color palette that you can color in the computer and have it transfer over to newsprint and still be vibrant. And there's a lot of little tricks to the trade there, because you can see how it just goes duller because the computer is in RGB color tones, and when you print in CMYK, which means you have sienna, magenta, yellow, and black running on in different percentages. And a lot of times when you print in CMYK, the blues and the greens can get dull real quick unless you know what you're doing. So.
Wait, Randy, did you mean Kyle Ritter?
What did I say? I'm sorry.
You said Kyle Baker.
Kyle Baker? Well, Kyle Baker's good too. Yeah, I meant Kyle Ritter.
There's somebody there right now, Kyle Baker.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Real quick.
I'm thinking about Kyle Baker because I just ran across some of his old shadow and some of his graphic novel work the other day. So yeah, Kyle Ritter's amazing colors. Yeah, Kyle Baker, also a good graphic storyteller.
I'm sitting there trying to think. I was like, Kyle Baker colors?
Sorry,
Kyle Baker. And then I'm medicated. You can't do that to me, Randy. You can't do that.
I'm sorry. That's me.
Now I'm gonna have dreams tonight about Kyle Baker's coming out the woodwork. Did
a couple shows with Kyle Baker. He's a nice guy. M3SOZ says 4 comedians sit down at the bar after their sets, 3 being Seinfeld impersonators. The bartender walks up and gives the non-impersonator a free beer. Okay. Oh, I think that's continued. The impersonators ask, why does he get a free beer? We were funnier. The bartender says, well, he didn't make the cut. Did I read that wrong?
No, you read that right. I'm trying to follow that one too.
Well,
M3SOZ, thanks a lot for listening. We do appreciate you. We do.
Yeah.
Marquis J says, why is it so hard to write a comic script? Where do you start? I have the whole story in my head, but find it difficult to write what one character may say to the next, or not really sure what format to follow. Or maybe I'm just too lazy to start. Mark, you want to address that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, for one, if you've got it in your head, put it on paper. In any format, any way you can, get it on paper. Because once it's on paper, you can start editing and improving and figuring it out. But the longer it just sits in your head, it's just wasted time. As far as writing how the characters speak, try to get in the head of what their personality is so that you have an idea of how they would talk. I like to do voices for my characters, so I really have a difference in how I think of each of them talking. But you get some personality traits down, and then you start thinking like, well, if someone's angry and often bitter, they're going to respond to what the other person said in this way. And if the other person is very kind and often looking for the most hopeful option, they're going to respond in this way. And you just got to get into the head of your characters so that you start thinking how they would talk rather than how you would talk. But you got to write it down. If you don't bother writing it down, there's a ton of people with ideas in their head who never write it down.
That's very true. Once you start speaking in the characters, once you get into the characters' heads, a lot of times they're going to start overruling the conversation. And pretty soon you're coming up with dialogue that you never realized that you needed to have in there just from the character's personality coming through. And another good key on writing dialogue is to say it out loud, because if it doesn't sound right out loud, it's not going to sound right to somebody who's reading it. So don't be afraid to act those out. And it does come in a lot, comes in handy real well. What is the voice of Guano Guy, since you think in voices?
I, the Guano Guy, very self-confident, like to speak in loud, expressive tones. And then I do Mr. Marvelous Man, who I think is very happy, tearful guy, but he doesn't really understand anything.
Cool. Marquis says, wow, thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, the tough one's the voice of the prankster. I can only do a line or two of him because he's just too chaotic. That's the toughest character. He luckily doesn't appear very often, so I don't have to think much for him.
That's Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Oh, Mark Hamill's very good. Wow.
Joe says standing ovation. Awesome. Sten says for comic scripting, check out The Art of Comic Book Writing by Mark Neese. That's Neese with a silent K. Making Comics Like the Pros by Pack and Van Lente. Or Drawing Words and Writing Pictures by Abel and Madden.
Now, I would go with that Mark guy because I have it on good authority that Marks tend to be some of the best people. You can't go wrong with a Mark.
Says, comment meant for Marquis. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're all here to educate folks, Stinch. We appreciate your input. But yeah, those all sound like great books. I can't say that I've heard of any of them, but it's definitely worth looking into. Go ahead.
Oh, actually, yeah, a good tip I have is, since this happens now and it didn't happen in the past, but if you get one of those special edition comics where they include the script and also oftentimes include the pencils, I feel like that's one of the best ways to learn and get several of those, because then you get to see how this writer approaches it and how this writer approaches it. And one thing you'll see is that they have very different styles and there's not a set format. It's just a matter of figuring out how to talk to the artist and how to work best with them. But there's a whole lot of styles for doing it.
Absolutely. Everybody's got their own way. So there's no real wrong way to do it as long as you're communicating with what you need to get done to your artist. Mm-hmm. And your artist understands it. You get back a page and you can't understand it. You probably need to work on your script a little bit.
Yeah. I know. I'm working with an artist right now that I'm really excited to work with, and he sent me back a sketch, and he accidentally drew in one of the wrong characters, and he's like, "Oh, I know I did this, but I'll fix it." And it happens to be that he put one of the Guano Boys in place of one of the villains, but it's so funny because of how they're looking at him like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Dude, don't fix that. That's hilarious. Keep that there." Serendipity on that one.
Well, it's Mark. When you're talking about Mark, that's clearly bias.
It's very biased.
Joe says, if you can find them, get any version of the Marvel tryouts. Yeah, good luck on those. Those haven't been printed in about 15, 20 years. So, and even then, they weren't really as there was a lot of instruction in them, but they're not nearly as instructional as they could have been, or there are a lot of other books out there to look. But and again, don't just look at one book. Don't trust one author. There is no real one way to do this. I mean, Mark and I can sit here and talk all day, and Varian as well, and the Indie Princess as well, who has scripted things in the past. You probably have 4 completely different ways of scripting right here on this podcast between the 4 of us. So
I've got 3 of them in my catalog now, and I like to look back at the script version of Chew, Black Hammer, and also a Scott Snyder Batman. And they're all totally different in how they approach the script and how they talk to the artist, how they describe scenes, their formatting, or how they just place like who's speaking versus the actual information for the artist. So it's all done different, and it's just a matter of whether does it work. If it works, it's right.
Yeah, and that's true with any of even the major companies. A lot of the major companies, a lot of times wing it. That's why they've got the Marvel way of writing. For a long time, Stan Lee was writing a good 8 to 12 books a month, and the way that would happen is a quick phone call for the plot, and the artist would sit there and literally paste the book out for 22 pages and send pencil pages into Stan, who sat there with a legal pad and just wrote all the dialogue, and then sent the legal pad and the original art out to the letterer to be lettered, and then from the letterer went right to the inker, and then back to Stan for a final reread, and then out to the colorist. So that was the Marvel way a lot of times, and not everybody works like that. Or you can be like Alan Moore, who sits down and does an entire book twice as thick as the work that he's writing on, because it's incredibly descriptive, right down to what details and what's sitting in the background, et cetera, et cetera.
No, I need this. I need the clock angled exactly here on the desk. It's got to be this exact angle. This is the time I need on that clock. There's exactly this amount of dust around that clock.
Mm-hmm. CM Boo says, I just grabbed a copy of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Cool. Yeah, there's been quite a few reprintings of that as well. And there's a lot of books out there on writing, and not and like I said, don't trust any one of them. Get as many as you can, absorb from as many sources as you possibly can, and you'll find real quickly that you'll have your own. You'll whittle your way down to what's comfortable for you and your writing style, and you'll get there in a hurry. You can also look at movie scripts as well. There's a lot of great script writing books out there by a lot of really big authors. I know Joe Straczynski has got the writer for Babylon 5, and who's done a lot of comic book work. Has got it's not out already, he's got a book coming out on how to write and how he writes, all the different formats that he's worked in, because he's worked in television, he's worked in movies, he's done just about every kind of media writing that you can imagine, and comics. And he goes through and compares all of the different systems and all of the different needs for each individual media for each script that he does. So Marquis says, I grabbed up a Paul Cooperberg Kickstarter guide to writing, and the damn guide print is so small I can't follow it. So I will look for another mention here. Sure.
Oh gosh, I got
and I like Paul.
I got a comic recently that I was really excited about. It was a bound book, and it was really, really old Mickey Mouse comics in little strip formats. But I need to go buy a magnifying glass because I just cannot read this tiny little text that they have in there, and it's a bit frustrating.
Well, that a lot of that's a hassle from going to a comic book size down to like digest size.
Mhm.
There used to be a lot of Walt Disney comic digests like that were just, to look back on them now, you know, the older you get, the harder the eyes become. You had to squint. And I've got a little magnifier that I carry with me or not carry with me, but I have set up here to do fine detail that I do a lot of reading with anymore.
You don't pull that out of your back pocket before you go to read something? Like, hold on a moment.
Yeah, it's a Sherlock Holmes thing. I'm sure that's coming. So it's getting there. His name is Babylon what? No, Michael Straczynski. He created Babylon 5. If you haven't seen that TV show, definitely get a chance to watch that in order. Don't just watch one episode, but watch it from the beginning and go all the way through the series. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Stench says he's got to bounce. Well, be careful. So have a nice eve, you all. You too, Stench. You take care. He's probably heading to bed because it's it's probably 4 a.m. where he's at. So take care, Stench. Thanks a lot for listening. Appreciate you very much. Joe says I have a library of comic production books from scripting, writing to sales. It's unavoidable. Yeah, Joe is right. Over a period of time, you're going to make your own little library of reference material. Says I have no idea what style you are looking for. Yeah, well, you're going to have to work your way through that and work it out for yourself because everybody, like I said, has a different writing style. So, and Marquis is laughing. I think he's laughing like crazy. It's all good. Stench says goodbye. Take care, Stench, again. Have a good evening. We'll be available here if you want to finish the program off on the YouTube channel or on the Roku channel. Probably we'll have it streaming as well, right? Available?
That is correct.
That is correct. Anything else, Variant?
That's all for questions.
It's all the questions.
That's all of them.
Uh-oh. Well, okay. Good night, folks. Thanks for listening. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Once again, Guano Guy. To all of our radio listeners out there, we're hitting the top of the hour. We appreciate you all for listening. We are the Indie Vault podcast. We appreciate your ears as we talk about the comic industry, comic business. And with us today is special guest Mr. Mark Darden, who does Guano Guy on Kickstarter. Guano Guy number 3 plus all 6 other Guano Guy comics.
Yeah, when you do a funky numbering, it's difficult to figure out how to let people know quickly in a byline about the issues. Like I got 1, 2, and 3, but then there's 4 other ones. So it's just there's a 0 and a 1/2 and a 1.5 and a 2.5.
You need to read them in numerical order, right?
Well, not the short story ones. I mean, there's some. It's canon, but they don't necessarily fall in an exact order. All the tragedies that befall his sidekicks happened before issue 1, except for issue 2.5. That kind of happens after issue 1, which makes sense because it's 2.5. So,
Exactly.
you know, if you read 1, 2, and 3 in order, it'll tell you references back to the other ones. You can go back and check them then, see what happened.
Joe's laughing. CM says, have a good one, y'all. He's going to go watch Swamp Thing episode 2. Is Swamp Thing actually on the air now? I heard CW was supposed to run it.
Yep, they are.
Oh, man, and I'm missing it. So, well, we appreciate everybody here. We have dropped down to 10 listeners.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh.
really.
Oh,
We're not. Go ahead.
The current issue of Guano Guy will have an element in it that I don't think has ever been seen in a comic. I can't say for a fact because I've never read every comic on the face of the planet, but I've never seen this before in a comic, and I'm pretty sure no one else has. Pretty sure. It's a near guarantee.
Anthony Figaro says he just got home, so he might be joining us here shortly.
Everybody's too quiet.
Everybody's way too quiet. We're depending on Mark to liven up the room.
Well, you guys just popped in.
I mean,
go ahead.
the comic is legit educational via the monologue and editorial notes. It's legit funny by a former comedian. It also contains that story element, as I previously said, that I don't think I've ever seen in a comic before, and I don't think anyone else has, and it'll be there in time for Christmas. You'll get it in November, so you could get one for someone else.
We're now adding to the stream, Mr. Anthony Figaro. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I don't want to interrupt Mr. Mark's pitch here. I want to hear it, man.
Oh, that's sweet, Figaro.
You two ever been on the podcast together, so you know each other? No,
just spiritual brothers. We get it. We understand it.
Mark, that's Anthony. Anthony, that's Mark. Mark does Guano Guy.
Gotcha. I was kind of checking it out a little bit. Good to meet you too, brother. The pitch is important, Mark. We're gonna get it at Christmas. I don't want to stop this.
Yeah. Show up in November. You could buy a copy for yourself and have one to throw in someone's stocking.
Beautiful. I'm uncomfortable calling those Christmas stockings.
Why?
Oh?
Like when I think of stockings, I think of ladies' garments.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
And so
garters are totally different than stockings.
What?
Garters go around the.
Well, no, I think of ladies' undergarment. That's it.
I think you said garters.
No, and just it's weird.
These aren't pantyhose hanging from the fireplace, or we're not filling garter belts for Christmas.
Although if that's your brand and you want to put the book in the garter belt and we're okay with that too.
Absolutely.
However you want to enjoy the book, is up to you.
There you
You
go.
want to have some alone time with the book?
Boom.
I did an art piece in a class before, and I took the art piece and I put it into the bottom of ashtrays. And some of my fellow students, they didn't like that. They were like, people are going to be ashing on your art. And I'm like, hey, as long as they bought the ashtray, they can do whatever they want with it after that.
They can put whatever they want on it.
Once you gave me the money for it, it's up to you. That's where my responsibility ends.
There you go, man. However, I can make you happy.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
I see you guys need some late night calls from your comic books. The comic calls you. You know what I've seen? Nothing that they do over here. You just sitting there with that person. And they're gonna start doing that at cons. They're gonna have you know how they tell us now they don't want the comics aren't made for you. Right? So now they'll do testing. They'll do purity tests right there at the booth. See if you can actually read the comic.
They're still doing that stuff.
Oh man,
I mean, it's still 2017. It's shit, man. It's 2020.
I wish it was 17. We can go back. That'd be great. Yeah, 2017 was a good year.
All right, 2018. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
Oh no. Yeah, the only thing I remember, people were really complaining about 2019 and happy it was over because a lot of musicians and entertainers died during 2019, and it sucked. And then it didn't get any better. Yeah.
2020 rolled in and be like, hey, what's happening, y'all? Like, fuck, what happened to 2019? Shit.
I wanted to forget about 2019, but not this way.
Not like this.
It did it worse.
2020 gave some gratitude for 2019. Shit, man. I had it good in 2019.
So Bowie died. Whoop-dee. At least we can still go outside.
We got the iCloud, man. We can always listen. We'll always have the music, man.
Anthony, you got a campaign, God's Hand.
I do.
Can
It
you
will
bring
be ending on Halloween.
ending on Halloween? So getting ready to wrap this one up.
I got it.
Going do some fulfillment, some fun fulfillment.
Emily says hello, and she likes the pink.
Emily,
Yeah.
how are you?
It's a good look. There's no doubt. It's a good look.
There's God's Hand right there.
Oh, there it is. Well, there's that guy.
Nice.
There's that feller.
Tell us about God's Hand, Anthony.
All right. God's Hand is, and this is where Mark and I are probably kin, but God's Hand is probably the New Orleans comic of our time. It's and I tell people that you deserve this after what 2020 has done to you. You deserve to own this book and give yourself some relief. We were saying today, you want one of those shirts. We were talking about if you have to go to a proctologist, make sure he does not have banana fingers. And so what we said is that if you had that shirt right there, right, your proctologist would know you were a man of business. And that if he had banana fingers, he'd have to check himself, because no man who wears that type of shirt would allow a proctologist with banana fingers to serve it, right? So it's a protectionary thing, right? So you get you that shirt, you don't have to worry about banana fingers ever, right? So 2020's done you dirty, you get this book. Proctologist might do you dirty, get the shirt. And I mean, you good. That covers everything. 2020, proctologist with banana fingers, you good to go, baby. This is the project for you. And you'll get it for Christmas as well.
Time for Christmas.
Time for Christmas.
Halloween and Christmas, baby. It'll be perfect.
The things that are said on this show. So now, listen, with
That's a great pitch.
banana fingers now. We
Hashtag banana fingers.
goes on with Gorilla Milk. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's what you mixing some banana fingers and you get some serious Gorilla Milk, boy. You better watch it.
Oh boy, yeah. If you get banana fingered and then gorilla milk, you're probably not going back to that proctologist. He's not letting you come back.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Could be that is not what I got paid for.
Joe D. McPhee.
You take yourself right on out this office and you don't come back.
Joe says, I wish I was a salesman like Mark and Anthony.
You gotta have fun with it, baby. Just have fun with it.
Joe, for my track, all you got to do is go play in a band, then join the military, and then teach fitness, and you'll be and do stand-up comedy. You put those things together.
God damn, Mark. I was gonna say, look, you want to be a salesman? All you gotta do is listen. Go buy some weed, start selling it, move up to cocaine, pull some armed robberies, go to jail for a minute, become a drug addict and an alcoholic, then go to AA and get sober, and boom, you're good. You got it, baby. So different paths that me and Mark took, but we wound up at the same place,
I think your path was harder. I don't think I would.
I heard the damn fucking stand-up comedy is pretty rough, bro.
It is challenging. It is not fun when you stand up and you think you're landing jokes and then it's crickets and you got a few more minutes you got to try to fill.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a good time.
It's rough stuff, man.
My first set ever, I had a great opening joke, and I mean, it had the room rolling, and I was like, wow, I think I got this. And the rest of the night was bad.
Oh.
And
it started off real strong.
It's like I walked into a boxing match, just laid one on the champ, and was like, oh, shoot, this guy's in trouble. Oh, ouch. Oh, boy, he's got me. Oh, okay, I got a lot more training to do.
But it's a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson, man.
It is.
I don't think I can ever do stand up. And if I did, I mean, well, The only way I end up being a good stand-up comedian is I have to do something I don't do on this show.
Be funny. Sorry, buddy.
That and liberal use of the N-word.
Oh,
yeah.
All over.
Okay. I've gone to, now I didn't perform there, but I've gone to a predominantly black club, and liberal use of that word was not out of place. Not only was that not out of place, but I cuss a bit in my stand-up, and I was like, oh, I do not cuss much. Like, if I came in here, these people would think I was clean cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, bowling team does count, Joe. It counts for a lot. I was never on a bowling team. I don't think Mark was, so you got us there, bro.
Joe says former military, did substitute teaching, deal with technical challenge for a 9 to 5. Haven't been in a band, but does a bowling team count?
Sure.
I mean, have you ever got a turkey? Because that's a challenge.
Well, Lola, when did you win your first bowling trophy? How old were you?
Oh, shit.
18 months.
Wow.
18 months. She was there. That's something that her family showed me. Her family makes her do that. They believe in bowling. 18 months. That she probably got a participation trophy, but
oh, come on.
We got participation trophies, but we also got like actual trophies too.
She said she got an actual trophy, dude.
Actual trophy.
She said for you. She said, "Yeah, Kingpin ain't got shit on her, bro. She got it, bro. She got it, bro. She ain't no Roy Munson, man. You know, she ain't gonna get Munson out there. So, she can roll, bro. She can roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't want to get Munson.
Yeah. Got an Indian
bowling with a rubber hand.
Oh, no, that's mean.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
So, the tarot cards came in today. Those look good. I think I sent. Did I send you the picture of that variant?
I think that you did, and for some reason my tablet was having an issue bringing it up. Let's see if it did it. Let me take a look. There they go. Yeah. Oh, what you know?
Anthony, what platform you got this up on?
Indiegogo, brother.
Okay, yeah. Tell people that. I've been looking for the last 5 minutes with no.
Yeah, we're talking to Anthony Figueroa, who does God's Hand. It's available over on Indiegogo. It's God's Hand, a New Orleans supernatural thriller.
That's correct.
God's Hand, 2 words.
It's like a mix between Hellboy and Angel Heart. I told somebody today, and maybe this is a younger crowd. I'm sure Randy and Mark may get this. Varian and Indie Princess may not. But they were asking me, well, who's the Jean Lafitte, your character? Who's the inspiration? And I had to think about it for a while because I was like, well, he's kind of like Doctor Strange and Gambit and Punisher. And then I was like, that's cool. I was like, but you know what it is? And I thought about it. He's Sharky from Sharky's Machine. That's essentially who he is.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
You got he's Sharky, man, from Sharky. He's even got the mustache, bro. He's got the mustache going too.
Wow, that's a movie I haven't seen in a long time.
Dude, I know, man. It popped up. I forget where I was, and I saw it popped up, and I was like, damn, dude. And I was like, because I'd watched all those movies when I was a kid and shit. Yeah. That's probably why I'm so fucked up. But that's what it is. That if you ever get a chance to see that, you ever seen that movie, Mark? Sharky's Machine with Burt Reynolds?
No, I gotta.
Dude,
okay. Oh, and
it's old school. It's old school,
old school.
Yeah. But it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the.
It probably was good.
One of the few really serious Burt Reynolds movies.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was good, man. So yeah, that's what it is, Randy. He's Sharky from Sharky's Machine.
When Adam Sandler redid that Burt Reynolds movie,
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard.
Yeah. Yeah, and Burt Reynolds was in it, but he didn't
Uh-huh.
seem too happy that people didn't know he was originally the star of that film.
Yeah.
And he was a lot more appropriate as a playboy gone to prison and now winning a football game.
Well, Burt played sports. He really played sports.
Yeah, he really was a football quarterback. So,
yeah, dude, he was like a legitimate. He was like all them dudes did back in the day, man. Lee Marvin, Bronson, those dudes were in World War II and shit. Those dudes were like Bronson. I think worked in the coal mines and shit.
Rugged. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot more kick in the funk.
Oh, you know that Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum used to. They were scared of Robert Mitchum, man. Robert Mitchum would knock your ass out, bro.
I think like the closest we would have today would be Danny Trejo. Has actually gone out and done the shit.
Right.
Been in the shit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. You don't get to see good movies like that no more. Not really.
And they don't make them like they used to.
Hey, now Joe D got a 245. That beats my highest ever at bowling.
2-4 shit. Once you got a 45, you done beat my highest at bowling. Shit.
About a 160 average. Highest game was a 245.
I think I got a 218, and that was when I was bowling weekly for one semester in college.
Does Wii bowling count? Because I mean that's about as. I can't remember any other bowling I did.
I don't know how to do that one.
I don't. It's when you a part-time botanist, and it just doesn't. Your memory goes. It's just not there. I don't know if it has something to do with the shrubbery or what. But it's no good. It's not good, man. I can't remember.
Now, there's a couple. Now, this is long ago, but I was in New Orleans, and I went to a club that didn't open till midnight, and it was all industrial music. Yeah, that's the one. Bro.
That's a little side when you go down the alleyway. It's just all ducked off and shit, dude. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was killer.
Yeah, there's a little bridge. Did you go to the bathroom where they got the false bookcases? It's a bookcase and it's a false bookcase, and that's the door to the bathroom. You got to know where it's at. Shit.
No, that's pretty cool.
It's sweet.
It's a seedy place. Don't get me wrong.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. It's cool, man. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a funny story about that place. My old man, when he was young, he Led Zeppelin came in '75, I think it was, and he knew a dude. He knew a dude who used to work there, and he wound up getting down in the quarter. He's like, "Come on in here, bro. Zeppelin's coming in." And so he went in the dungeon, and sure enough, Zeppelin walks in. He said, "Freaking Page was so blasted, bro." He said, "Plant." Was like they were walking around like he was a zombie and shit. And he sat down with was it John Bottoms? So he sat with him all night and they bullshitted with him. He was into race cars and shit, and he was more of a drinker and shit. Mm-hmm. And they bullshitted and said, man, when they left, bro, Page and Plant left with 2 transvestites. They were, he's like, all right, bro, see you. Good night, y'all. So the dungeon has this
have a good evening,
long and sordid path.
And that's when the hotel started being trashed.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's why he threw the TV out. He got him back and was like,
exactly.
"What?
Like,
the equipment's wrong." Oh, forget it.
They woke him up. He's like, "What the fuck is this? The sound that you ain't know."
I think every city's got a Zeppelin tale of adventure. So.
The dungeon definitely does.
Yeah. Now I want to go back to New Orleans because of the whole parade thing. You can get your own parade.
Yeah, brother, you got to come down for Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
that's a whole different animal there.
Yeah, I've been there for. I know I've been there for one. I think it was just a one. It's packed.
It's one of those things. We had this conversation the other day, and I was like, it's you don't realize it until you come down here, but it's like. What I think what sucks people in is the not only the availability but the ease and comfort with which you can drink and just walk around drinking.
It's nice.
Right? Like it's like there's police and shit, and you get nervous, and then it's just like you walk by and they don't say anything, and everybody else is drinking, and it's just one of those. I told somebody this story. I said it's so normal here that I think I was in Houston, and I'd been sober for about 4 years. And I was in Houston. We went out to this place, and it was like 75 people out there. It was like 50 to 75 people. And we had eaten, and it was like a town square, and they were all outside eating ice cream with their kids and having a good time. And I was, like, man, I remember for about 15 minutes, I was so nervous. I was like, man, I don't understand why I'm feeling like this. I don't get it, And it dawned on me like this, and this is no bullshit. It dawned on me like I was so uncomfortable being around these people because none of them were drinking. In my entire life, I had never been to outdoor events where people weren't drinking and getting loaded. And these people weren't, and it was weird to me. Like I didn't know why until it dawned on them. Like, oh yeah, because you can't drink outside in other states. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans, it's like, hey, do you have a DWI? It's like, yeah, I got one. People from New Orleans are like, oh, that's it? Shit, I thought you was a real drinker. In other states, it's like, you got a DWI? People go, what are you, an alcoholic? It's New Orleans. We have drive-through daiquiri shops, right? For years, right? You could just go pick up the daiquiris from the drive-through, and the passenger and the people in the back, they could drink.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And they
now you just can't put the straw in it. You can drive around with it, but you can't put the straw in it, right? It's a trip, man. So when you come here, it's like, where's the liquor store? We're like, hey, no, liquor store. Look, Shell station right there. Just go ask them. Look, the Circle K right there. Just go ask him. You just go back there. There's liquor behind the counter. Yeah, give me one of them bottles right there. Sure. 24/7 town. So if the liquor don't get you, the food will get you.
Yeah. I was telling my girlfriend that's because I want to get back to the Southeast eventually. But air traffic control jobs, you don't just you don't move and then go and pick one up. You gotta get the job first. But yeah, New Orleans would be a cool place to be. Close enough to family.
Yeah, they just built they rebuilt Louis Armstrong Airport. They built a whole new airport out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be on the horizon. Where you from?
Originally Florida, so Tallahassee.
Okay.
Tallahassee. Yeah, up in the north.
I got you. I got a partner of mine lives out in St. Augustine, which is just a straight shot to Jackson and then like 50 miles below Jackson.
Yeah. St. Augustine's a cool city. There's a lot there. I went recently. There was Gatorland. There was a haunted lighthouse to climb up. There's a whole lot of entertainment. There's the old fort that's still there. That's really cool to walk through.
I will go. I would like to go back to St. Augustine simply because we don't have them here for the Publix, and I'm like the freaking the plums and the peaches from the Publix stores there are phenomenal. Like I would drive 9 hours to get these plums. They're ridiculous. They're better than when I was a child. You know how you have memories and you fantasize, romanticize what it was like. This blew that away. My imagination and memory of what plums were. This place fucking demolished them. I was like, gee. I tried to bring some home. It just didn't last. I ate them. I couldn't stop eating motherfuckers. It's like a farmer's market type thing, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I want to take this moment to remind our radio audience that we are rated TVMA DLSV, and Anthony is actually talking about fruit.
Yeah.
He's not talking Georgia peaches.
Yeah, plums.
Blew away my memories as a child. I couldn't stop eating them.
Man, Oh my goodness, man.
Anthony and his magic plums.
Where you staying now, Mark?
I'm in a very small town. I'm in Lewiston, Clarkston. It's two towns on the opposite sides of a river. But I wanted to get back into aviation, and the way to do that was to go where the opportunities is, and that meant going to a small town area to get a start.
Gotcha, bro.
What I needed to do.
That's cool. Make a decision. If it's the wrong one, just make another one.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, but that's a good way to do it, man. Otherwise, people spend a lot of time and they never make the decision, and they never make the move.
I just don't know how Mark gets ready for that type of stress every morning. Being in aviation, that Your particular job would be too frustrating to me.
Well, I mean, one thing is like, I don't know, I kind of grew up high stressed. So like, I could tell you, like, when I got to basic training in the military, I step off the bus and one of the sergeants just like runs up on me and just screams. And I just look at him and like, okay, he said, pick up the bag. And I just calmly picked up the bag. I didn't like freak out. And he kind of looked at me like, I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He didn't like jump or nothing. He did do what I told him to do. It was just nothing, like yelling. That ain't nothing new. What's up with that? Just go and pick up a bag. He's telling me to pick up a bag.
That's it, man. What? I hear you. It's like it seems very practical, right? Yeah, you want to pick it up? Okay, fine. Where you want me to go with it?
Yeah.
Actually,
want me to go over there? Yeah, I'll take it over there.
No.
That's when you go.
Or I can hear you fine.
When you go, sir, you remind me of my mother, sir.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell him that.
Oh no! I'm like, okay, we got us a private joke here. All right, I got you. Look, take that bag and go run me 2 miles. When you come back, do 2 more. You'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got all day till 6 o'clock. Then my relief comes, but I'll tell him to hook you up too.
They'll go ahead and move your ass, bro. They'll be like, you got to get your mind right, boy. You know?
I had a sergeant get mad at me just because I said he reminded me of Ben Diesel, which I thought was a compliment.
I mean, it's not. I'd be like, well, thank you.
Yeah, Diesel's awesome. How am I insulting you with that?
He was like, I'll fix you.
The other one was 500.
There's different drill sergeants these days, man.
Joe McPhee says, Mark, you didn't become one of his favorites. LMAO.
No.
Gotta jump.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No. But I could always run fast and do a lot of push-ups and shoot a rifle real well. And I kept my boots shiny. So that kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Where you grew up at?
So that got me past my my sarcastic attitude. That got it to pass a lot of times.
Where'd you grow up at, Mark?
Tallahassee, Florida. Yeah.
Where did you do any shooting when you was a kid?
Yeah, I did a little bit with my dad. My dad grew up hunting, so I did some shooting. So when I got to the military, even though I wasn't like an expert, like a gun wasn't new to me. That helped.
You did squirrel hunting or rabbit hunting?
No, he took me out for like duck hunting.
Duck hunting. I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good. Hitting ducks, moving targets like that is a trip. Specifically when they're flying at you. That's a tough shot.
Yeah. No, that's tough. So when I went and did the range shooting where like a target, even 300 meters away, a target pops up, but I mean, it pops up. I got a couple seconds to shoot and then it's going to go back down. That's not nearly as hard as a moving target.
Oh, I hate no.
Yeah. Trying to like skeet shoot or duck shoot, that's tough because they fly that way.
That's what my grandpa did with us. Because see, when we were kids, I tell people my grandpa he come from the country, so he was hunting and fishing. So when we were like 5-6 years old, they'd come home from the trip and they'd have all the squirrels and all the rabbits, and you'd have to go out there and hold the feet, while they skint them up and they'd feed the livers to the dogs and shit like that. So when you got to be a little bit older, about 7 or 8, they put you in the woods with a 410, a little single shot 410. And man, Papa would put you, he's old World War II dude, man. He put you on a hill and it'd be like 5:30 in the morning and it'd be pitch black. He'd be like, all right, stay here, I'm going over here. You'd be like, shit, man. You'd be thinking, I got a gun, but Jason, you shoot Jason, they don't kill him. So this gun ain't going to be shooting, And then when I got to be a little bit older, that's when he got the skeets, man. He got the little launch and he'd do the clay targets and he'd shoot them left to right, away from me, towards me, you know what I'm saying, and teach you how to shoot and shit like that. So it's Louisiana. So it's like one of those things, even though like, you hear me, I sound like a city boy. I spent a lot of time in the woods hunting. It's like one of the prerequisite things. It's like you better know how to skin a squirrel, you better know how to shoot a gun, you better know how to tie a line. You better know how to get you a fish, you know, and get a girl, and you know, sell weed, and you know, drink liquor. Gotta be a man of many parts, man, in New Orleans, bro.
It's
Shooting is that I like anybody who can shoot a gun. I like.
Yeah, I think that well, growing up in Detroit, and
Suburbs.
I was okay. You can say suburbs you want, that's fine. But growing
I
up,
grew up in Detroit.
it was I had a weird experience because, like she said, I was kind of like in this sectioned off area. So the first time that I actually seen drugs, I was a grown man. I think I was at least 24. Yeah.
Wow.
What a sheltered existence I've lived. I'm catching up for it now, though.
I think it's probably normal, bro. I think I'm the abnormal one who's like, yeah, drugs and stuff. I think most people kind of, you know, maybe the guy on the corner, maybe a little alcohol and shit. But you know, the whole drugs thing, it's like, you know, most people, I think, I'm 43. When I was in high school, right, the only people who did drugs were like musicians, petty criminals, you know what I mean? Like very, very, it was very a subculture thing. Not everybody smoked weed like today. They just didn't. Certain people who were into drugs and other people who weren't. Same thing with like tattoos and stuff, right? So the only people who were into tattoos were like, again, rock star, you know, musicians, bikers, criminal. Like it wasn't this glamorous shit it is today. It's strange, bro. So most people, you know, stayed away from that shit until they got in their 20s. They went to college, weed popped up and shit like that. But for the most part, people kind of, you know, it wasn't until maybe you got into like the 2000s that all of a sudden, man, like everybody was smoking weed. And then next thing you know, everybody's taking pain pills. Everybody's doing drugs. And you're like, what the fuck happened, man? You know,
they got past the good drug days. That's what it is.
Well, go ahead.
I didn't start drinking until I got into comics. I didn't start doing drugs until I got divorced.
Doing drugs.
That's the way it is.
No, I think for a long time, man, it was what happened was in the early mid 2000s, you had a boom of doctor shopping. And so what happened was these opiates pills flooded the streets, and it's all of a sudden then you started getting like soccer moms and like people who were told, because again they felt like, well, I'm went to a doctor and got prescribed them. They're not off the streets, right? So it lured them into this false sense that it was okay to do them, and then tolerances went up, and it was like they would allow you, you know, at one point you could make 3 or 4 doctors at one time. So each week you could go get 90 pills, eat them up. Next week, same thing. And then when they cut that shit out, man, it left all these people scrambling, you know, and a lot of people turned to heavier drugs and shit. We need a shirt with Randy saying it didn't start.
Joe McPhee says we need a t-shirt with Randy saying, I didn't start drinking until I got into comics. Yeah, should be with a hashtag, get an education underneath it. There we go. Indie Volt.
But on the back side, you need, I didn't start drugs till divorce.
Yeah. I didn't start drugs till I got divorced.
Hey, you need to make that T-shirt and start putting that on every Indie Volt and put that up.
Yeah.
Put the Indie Volt logo on it. Hashtag get an education. It'll be great.
I'm gonna get me a T-shirt that says hashtag no banana fingers. I'm gonna be wearing that from now on. So that's gonna be my thing, man. Next time I run a campaign, it'll be the no banana fingers for perk. You know what I mean? So
please, kind sir.
I tell everybody you can get away from that by making sure that your doctor is a very small Filipino woman.
Or a midget. Or a midget.
That was my family practitioner for many years.
I like that. That's something that just feels okay, you know.
Randy, you trying to find me a doctor or a date here? Which of these are?
Maybe both. Shit, bro. It's a win-win, bro.
She didn't hear that. She might as well.
Suddenly, annual checkups weren't quite so bad.
Boom. You know what I mean? It's, a little happy ending. It's all good, bro.
Hey, I don't know if you want to continue this later, but
I'm always
Oh,
reminded
my
of that scene from Fletch.
Oh my
Because-
yeah.
Hello.
It's like, geez, aren't you using the whole fist? Oh yeah, man. Classic, bro. Your book's on Kickstarter? Is that what it is?
yeah.
My gosh.
Yep. The Guano Guy on Kickstarter.
I missed the beginning part. Is this your first campaign? Second?
No, it's third one.
Third. Same
Third
book,
campaign.
same title?
What's
So
that?
Is it the same title?
Yeah. It's all been the Guano Guy. Haven't
He's on-
quite yet.
He's on issue 3, but he's got 7 comics that are all Guano Guy. There's
Yeah.
an issue 0, an issue 2.2 3/4. Yeah, it's all there. It's a great campaign.
Are you doing floppies or are you doing a
Yeah.
heavier page count?
No, we got they're floppies, but they're more old school, where a lot of them are 40 pages. So even though there's 7 comics, it's rounded about, it's got about 190 pages at this point.
Killer.
Oh, yeah. Heck, we're even gearing up for issue 4 already. A few pages are in, covers are already being worked on, short stories are being doled out. It's next year. It's gonna be really good. Just want to amp up.
Let's hope the year cooperates.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. If the year will cooperate, it's gonna be golden.
Can you imagine that, man? Like, we're all excited for 2021, and it could be worse. Like, we're canceling everything yet again. Do you think that the comic industry stays afloat if this continues throughout 2021?
Do you think our sanity stays afloat?
Yeah,
No.
what continues?
I mean, if 2021,
Lockdowns and stuff? Is that what you talking about, Barry?
Yeah, like the lockdowns and this place can't open, that place can't open.
What you think, Mark? You go. I'll answer afterwards.
yeah, I think what's going to make 2020 seem great is if in 2021 the Egyptian dinosaur aliens come back down, like take over.
That's December, dude.
Dinosaurs. Are these the Gal Gadot?
Then we're going to be like, man, being broke and stuck at home wasn't so bad. Now I got to build more pyramids for these stupid Egyptian dinosaur aliens.
That's in December.
Coming.
That'll still happen in
That's
2020.
still a 2020 issue, man.
Yeah.
2021.
I don't know, Darren. I think the direct market is shifted in a way that I don't think it's ever going to be the same. Not from the end that I'm working. You know, crowdfunding is the new way. It's the new path, and mixing in YouTube, mixing in these different things to build an audience and build a fan base. I just don't see the direct market right now. It doesn't seem like it's even trying to repair itself. I don't know what it's trying to do, but it's trying to morph into something else. And so I don't know what the brick and mortar shops, I think, are probably going to go, as far as the way we understand it. I think it's just they're going to go. I don't think it's going to.
It seems that they're having to diversify so badly. They're going to turn into geek kiosks.
Right.
That's what the terminology is. Yeah,
and that's right. And so it's this weird thing where it's like I watched this. And I've heard him talk about this, but I watched this debate the other day with this guy Dan Shaheen and Ethan Van Sciver, and what Shaheen was saying. Well, what Shaheen was saying was I didn't quite understand. He's saying that the market is shifting to a different audience, and he's talking about through libraries and like all these other areas, and it's like, but that's not us. That's not us. It's not, And so what are you going to do for the fans who are still there? What are they going to get?
we can literally spend an entire podcast tearing apart Dan Shaheen's so-called point of view because it
Yeah,
was so uninformed and bent out of shape. That's my opinion.
I agree.
That's
I
my
agree.
sincere opinion.
I agree. I think he was a little too emotional in what he was talking about and not very business oriented.
There was no grasp in reality for what he said, and I was yelling at the screen quite often, going, "Dude, you have not been retailing. You've never you must." Well, he said he retailed at one point. He says you have not retailed for very long.
That's you have. You just said it though. He used to. He used to. It's like, well, you're not anymore though. So what happened? And I thought Ethan was trying to answer him genuinely, because I don't think Ethan should have answered the question when he asked him, well, how much, if you walked into a comic book store and you bought this, how much would you pay for it? It's a disingenuous question, because it's like, well, you're asking me how much I would pay for a handmade hamburger in McDonald's. Well, I probably what I would pay for the other ones, maybe $1 or $2 more. It's not the same as if I go to a straight up burger place where I know this is what this place is known for, making these killer handmade burgers. I'm going to pay more money there, but that's why I go there. I know I'm going to get a better quality. You can't compare selling out of McDonald's as selling to a homemade place over here. And crowdfunding is that. It's a totally different experience. You can't compare buying out of a shop in mainstream to the crowdfunding experience. It's a totally different experience.
It's also the difference between these corporations, like you were saying, mass manufacturing, but these old Marvel and DC, they used to print millions of comics. Right. And now we're lucky or happy if we have 1,000 backers. That's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. The difference between print on demand, which Shaheen did not want to understand or take into consideration, the difference between print on demand and mass production. It was ludicrous. Plus, all of his arguments. That my big problem with the market right now, with all of these people saying we're going in a different direction. We're doing libraries. We're doing this. Look at what Scholastic's doing. Please look at what Scholastic's doing. Please do, and tell Scholastic one of these days they got to release their numbers, because I've looked at what Scholastic's doing, and they don't seem to be selling as many books as everybody thinks that they're selling. Their books are all over the place. They're in all the big box stores. They're in the libraries. Sure, absolutely. But how many books are they actually moving?
Right. What's the numbers?
Raina Telgemeier isn't boasting she's buying a Rolls Royce or getting the big heavy toys. Same thing with the gentleman who does Dogman. Where's the money? How are these people being treated? How are they being paid? Are they being paid well? If these folks are big creators, are they being paid what they're worth? Especially if they're so-called moving millions and millions of copies of their work, they better be getting treated well. And I'm not seeing that in the market. No. So where's the beef, as the old lady, Wendy's lady used to say? Where's the proof?
100%.
I see a lot, and Varian and I have had this discussion so many times in the past off camera. A lot of times in comics, it's not how big you are. It's how big everybody thinks you are. And right now, everybody thinks Scholastic is huge. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I go into my local box stores, I see the same books on the same shelf in the same quantity constantly. I'm not seeing them books move. I see exposure. And in the libraries, you sell one copy that's read maybe by 10, 15 people, maybe. That's if they bother to check it out and read it, or read it while they're sitting there and looking at it. Marvel sells to the libraries a lot. That's where they say Ms. Marvel is such a big character, but are the people actually sitting there and reading these books? Or are they just being bought by the libraries and sitting on a shelf with a whole rack of other Marvel merchandise?
Correct.
There's a huge difference between what everybody's perception of what is happening, especially in some of these markets, and what's actually going on, at least from my point of view. I could be wrong. Maybe they're moving a ton of books, but I ain't seeing it.
I tend to agree with you on that, Randy. I think, and that's what I think the movement right now is. Look at the feet. Look at the money. You can say whatever you want, but like him or not, whatever you want to say about him, EBS made $1 million off of a comic book.
And Raina Telgemeier's won all of these huge awards and has done a good dozen books.
There's people who want want the traditional stuff. Right? Yeah. They crowdfunded. They're in crowdfunding. You know what I mean? You have you got a lot of projects that are going between 10, 15, 20, 25, 40, 50. This is so the money's there. Mm-hmm. Right? You can make it out and say whatever you want. Oh, it's white supremacy, blah blah blah, and all this other bullshit. It's just like, brother, this is all this bullshit that at some point what's happening is the house is shaking. And in one house, what's happening is it's shaking off the mud, it's shaking off the dust, and you see it underneath. There's something to this. This house is solid. On the other hand, like Randy's saying, there's this other house that looks good, but it keeps shaking, and all of a sudden parts keep falling off. People are going, "Is this house as solid as people think it is?" And all of a sudden, at some point, people are going to realize it's just not. That this has been a bloviated situation that is now. Because of COVID, because of this thing, it's exposing these things to which we couldn't really see before. We just kept going, oh yeah, it must be doing good. It must be doing good. To where now it's like Randy's saying, it's like, well, look with your own eyes. Don't listen to what people. Just look with your own eyes. How is the market growing? Is it shrinking? How's the creators? How's the quality of work? Right? How much is this a viable career? You know what I mean? Or are people barely scraping by? Why? Who's making money? You know what I mean?
Where's the money going? Is there money? It's their money. That's the big question. You know,
AT&T there isn't.
Yeah. Well, AT&T right now, they're just like with Disney. They're sweating to make $1, and they're sitting around wondering why they're not pulling in the money that they always thought that they were making. I mean, we're at a time, especially this year, where everybody's in the house. There's nothing to do. There's no new entertainment. There's nothing going on. I got you're seeing the lethargy now on YouTube because hardly nobody is streaming. Nobody's talking about the new books. Nobody's talking about stuff coming out. Nobody cares because there's nothing of quality out there. Everybody's complaining how bad the media shows have gotten, how bad Star Trek is, how bad Star Wars is, how bad everything is. But there's how many people are out there talking about how great anything is? There's nothing great going on. They want to complain that, oh, well, Netflix is in trouble with cuties, but how many good reviews have you seen out there for The Boys out and streaming on Amazon? The Boys is supposed to be phenomenal.
Season 2 is hitting some issues. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah, well, yeah, I heard about that, but I
don't know.
Yeah, there's a call out now for people to go back and I just saw a montage of 80s real clips from old 80s movies, and I'm sitting there looking at that and looking at all of the different things that they did, all the different variety of entertainment that they had, and going, you know what? Maybe the 80s were really a high point in film because this came out and that came out and holy crap, that came out and that came out and wow. You know, how do you compare that to today? Not counting this year even, but the high points have all been Marvel movies. Just about.
In the 80s, Sharky's Machine.
There you go. Yeah. And when's the last time anybody referenced Sharky's Machine? You know, because
now that's it. Yeah. No, but prior to that, no, it's it. It's funny you say that already. I'll go along with that because it's like I think, and you know, you wonder if you're just partial because you're like, well, some of the greatest movies came out when I was coming up. Shit, but there was this last kind of run where it's like you're right though, Randy. It's like everything. A lot of the stuff we're seeing now is rehashes of things that were out in the 80s. You know, I mean, Star Wars. Right, you had RoboCop, you had Predator, Aliens. I mean, you had Terminator. I mean, you had some fucking franchise. Indiana Jones. I mean, you had franchises that were born, man. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just, and you've never quite. They've been trying to emulate that, and
they're all falling embarrassingly short. You know, they're not making anything close to the money that they used to make off of any of these franchises.
Let's not forget the Running Man, Richard Dawson.
Yeah, there you go.
Richard Dawson. If you ever want to watch it, go watch the montage. It's like 4 hours long of Richard Dawson, and he just kisses women for 4 hours on the lips. He just goes down the line and kisses them and kisses them and kisses them. That's what he did. Like that was his thing. 4 hours worth, just him kissing women. Old Family Feud, bro. Those were the days.
Those were the. You ain't gonna see that happen again. Not without everybody wearing masks and bumping elbows. Oh,
Steve
boy.
Harvey isn't kissing the women.
If you watch this, I mean, them bum boys kissing them on the lips and shit.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah.
It's a trip, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trip. He just kissing them and shit. Like, hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Huh? Hold up, that's my wife there.
Yeah, but none of the dudes never say anything.
Never got that.
He just
never got that. Yeah.
Never says a word, bro.
I would imagine they were all told to be as friendly to Richard as they wanted to be.
Richard looked like
Richard could take it.
Richard definitely looked like he was connected. You know what I mean? Like he had that dark ass tan. He kind of wore like those suits and shit. Looked kind of like he could be running with Sinatra real easy. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, Richard Dawson.
But he also looked like he was having a ball doing that show too.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, fuck.
Anyway, hey,
So
what about
I
them
agree.
comic books? You know?
Yeah, man.
That's why we tell folks if you ever get a chance, you're around a retail shop that's been around for a few decades, take a few hours out if you can. It's like on a weekend or whatever, and go through the retailer's old back issue boxes and take a look at some of that great stuff that used to come out. You know, those old Warren and magazines, the old, even the older stuff that Marvel used to do, just doesn't. The quality comparison is just, it's not even there as far as the older stuff being better quality compared to the newer stuff. It's just, there's so much good stuff out there that, folks just, you think about all of the, like I was saying about all the movies, and it's like, well, that was out and that was out, and, all of this. And now you look back and you go, the 80s had a pretty freaking big decade for movies. And entertainment in general. It's the same thing with comics. Comics, especially with the big guys, not in the crowdfunding is the new example of the change in the quality level jumping in the art form compared to what these corporates are doing, because the people that are doing the crowdfunding stuff are the people that care about comics. They're there because they want to do comics for the most part. They want to do sequential art. They want people to read their stuff. They want to be enjoyed and read by people instead of just, well, we're doing this because the Marvel movie where the movie was out 6 months ago, so we're still using this the second storyline on this character to try to tie back into this movie that was out, or here's a property that we're hoping is going to be a Netflix show one of these days. It's sad to see where the market is sitting and how obvious the quality level is different when it comes to these crowdfunding endeavors. You're getting some really ingenious stuff out there offered on Kickstarter and Indiegogo compared to the docile material that's coming out of the mainstream and these so-called alternative comic markets that are going to the retail shops. Yeah, if I was a retailer right now, I'd be really worried about what I was selling. And well, I would have done this I'd have been like Dennis Barger, who I really like, and go around and start complaining about the lack of quality and the lack of stuff to sell, because these guys need to make a living. These guys want their shops to stay open, and these corporations don't care if they're in existence next week or next year. And look at what Diamond did to these people. They just suddenly decided to stop shipping them product. Well, and then stop paying the people that they owed money to until, put them on a plan, a percentage plan. We'll pay you 20% today and then we'll pay you over a 13-month period. And that's ridiculous if you expect a company to stay alive. They don't care. They're just, it gets disgusting. And then you've got the high points that you're seeing in crowdfunding. That's why we're out here pushing and showing off all these different crowdfunding campaigns, because there's quality there. There's really, but you look at a book like your God's Hand or Guano Guy or Death Can Save Us from Russ Leach or Elysian Fields and all that. There's some really ingenious, top-notch quality stuff coming out that you're not seeing coming out from the mainstream dudes or even the secondary mainstream dudes, because they're all worried about getting money from other sources. These people just want to do comics and be read and loved. So anyway, I'll get off of that soapbox. Varian, how you doing? You asleep yet? Drugs kicking in?
No, just highly medicated.
Highly medicated.
Yeah.
Is he? I couldn't tell, man. I could totally not tell that you're highly medicated.
Goonies and Gremlins. Yeah.
That's right, Goonies and Gremlins.
Sorry, Joe, I was on that soapbox. He says, preach, Randy, preach. So comics will survive, but I doubt people will be sane enough to enjoy them. As soon as things open, the current market will change again. I don't think it will, Joe. I think you've hit a level of stagnation here that you're not going to crawl out of once the market or once the situation changes. Now is a prime time, and I keep saying this, for another company to spring up that'll find a new format that'll do sequential art in a readily accessible form. Maybe not necessarily crowdfunding, but getting out there in other sources and available through these retailers and build up a whole set of IPs that nobody's ever heard about before, that there'll be movies of 10, 20, 30 years down the line by the people that the kids that pick up these products and read them. There's a bunch of, and I found this out when I was doing my newspaper. Comics are eternal. There's so many evergreen, and the art form is so readily accessible to anybody who knows how to read and can see and associate the words with the pictures, that you just have to be out there at an accessible enough level to be picked up and read, and you will be read and you will be enjoyed. You know, that's there really needs to be a shift as far as the market goes, and Varian hates newsprint books, but there really needs to be some nice thick reprint books out there, or some reprint album books, maybe digest size books like they kick out over in Italy, or they kick out over in Europe, that has different IPs, that has whole stories in nice square bound small volumes the size of the old Reader's Digest, that for kids to be accessible to. There's a reason why Shonen Jump is so popular over in Japan, you know, and sells so many copies. There's definitely room now in the marketplace for some readily accessible, inexpensive comics, whether they're on newsprint or what. So
what you got against newsprint?
There you go.
Yeah. For me it was I remember some of the books I got, they're newsprint, so the older classic books. I don't have anything against newsprint, honestly. I do.
That's the drugs talking.
I just hate to see it done poorly.
I don't like the feel of them.
This is like the feel of it. I like Randy put out a good quality newsprint magazine. That was cool.
Well, the old, I believe the old pulpy, brownish newsprint paper now is almost more expensive than the nice bleached white newsprint that's available out there anymore.
Racism.
I don't know if it's that as much as it's easier supply and demand. People just don't have the demand for the old pulpy looking newsprint anymore. They'd rather print on some cleaner, whiter stuff. That's all.
They just like that white look. That's all. I mean, it's just like that, Aaron.
It ain't white. It ain't right.
Hey, bro.
That is not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
The days of the pulp magazine is gone, where everything was cheap and the edges were raggedy, and they were made to be read once and then disintegrate. Those days are over.
You gotta accept that, Variant. The POC, the pulp of color. Those days are over, bro. They never coming back, bro.
I look at those old they'll show like documentaries, and they'll show these kids roll up these comics, stuff them in the back pocket, and go walk up the hill.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you idiot, you know what it is you just folded? But,
You don't know that, man. You just don't know, man.
One of my primary gateways into comics was the old Walt Disney Comics and Stories. They're the old Walt Disney Comics Digest that the parents used to nab at the checkout counter as they were walking out the door. And that Archie material just ain't making, you know. If Walt Disney were to do a regular digest like that, and they tried doing their slick little magazine that nobody wanted to read because it was more articles and comics, they were to actually do a comic book or another comic digest, they don't even have to reprint whole pages, so you have to have a magnifying glass to read them. They could chop them pages up and blow up the panels bigger and set them, though they'd have to pay somebody to do that, which they probably don't want to do. But there's ways to make that artwork accessible and readily available on a larger scale. They're just not looking. So, anyway, we're creeping up towards we've passed that 2 hour mark.
We did.
you better close it down.
We're gonna have to close it down. Anthony, tell us how that folks can find you.
All right, so you can find me at #NoBananaFingers, and you can find all my information there. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go straight to Indiegogo.com, and you can look up God's Hand, which is the campaign that I have going on right now. And you can get your copy of God's Hand. We will be closing on Halloween. Now, this is the cool part about it. You will still be able to buy the book afterwards, but this is what you won't be able to get. You won't be able to get the Indiegogo exclusive cover. You won't be able to get the tarot card, the 2 trading cards. You won't be able to get some of the prints. We also are giving out Lanyard Packs. And then what we're also doing is we have 30 die-cut stickers, which we're going to give out to 30 random backers. We also have 10 exclusive metal bookmarks, which will be signed and numbered. We'll give those out to 10 random backers. And then we have 5 metal trading cards that look like that trading card right there with Gene Lafitte on it. We have 5 of those, which we will then pick 5 randoms and we'll send those out. Also, what you guys will like to hear is that the book, which was initially supposed to be 52 pages, is now at 80 pages. That's 66 pages of story, but it'll be a grand total of 80 pages now.
Awesome.
So you get all of that, and we have these little lanyard packs that everybody's going to get. And inside the lanyard pack, which is New Orleans for extra, you'll get 4 uniquely New Orleans items that are related to Mardi Gras. So you can get all that right now if you get the book now, while it's still in demand on Indiegogo. I recommend you do that. You can scroll down and show them the 2 different covers. They have the if y'all scroll down just a little bit, keep going.
Is that one?
Keep going. That's the Indiegogo. That's the Indiegogo. That's the standard cover. Keep going. Go up. Not that one. Not that one. No. There you look. That one right there. See that one? That one with that skull and he's got that cigar. Look at it. That's the standard cover right there. All right. You can get one of those. Now, if you go to the cover right above it, not below it, but above it, there you go. Look at that. That's the Indiegogo exclusive cover. If you get through the campaign, you'll get that cover right there. And which you can only get through Indiegogo. Once the campaign closes, that cover will no longer be available. So you can get you one of them.
That's God's Hand on Indiegogo.
Correct.
I got it. When I first read about I like to call them Lanyard Packs.
One day you're going to have to play that video on air.
Yeah.
Darian did this way he imitated me. It was good. It was good.
Mark, do a last minute pitch for Guano Guy and tell us how folks can get a hold of you.
All right. Yeah. The Guano Guy is just fun, silly entertainment, which what better could you need right now? So a little bit educational, not much, only 2%. Used to do stand-up, so I mean, seriously, I know how to do funny. It'll get there in time for Christmas because you're getting Thanksgiving. And there's honestly something in this comic book that I'm 99% sure you'll have never seen before in a comic book. So, I mean, that right there should be worth the price of admission just to see something you never seen before. And when you see it, you'll be like, oh, good one, guy. Never seen that in a comic book before. You got me there. But it's going to be a fun, funny book. If you get the whole set, it's nearly 200 pages of material. And we've got great covers. There was the Geek Girl crossover that happened. That's also available, which is pretty cool. And, I mean, that's GG and GG. They got the same initials.
Yeah. How can folks find you?
And they can find me on Facebook. That's my favorite place to communicate with people. And either find me as Mark Darden if you want to hang out and chat with me, or if you just want to know about Guano Guy updates. Guano Guy's got his own page. He can get back with you and keep you up on just what's going on there.
And that's on that's on Kickstarter. That is Guano Guy #3 plus 6 other Guano Guy comics.
Yeah.
On Kickstarter. Mark Darden, thanks so much for being here.
Before you cut out, I forgot to mention this because I remembered you guys got a big time international audience, correct?
Yes.
Okay, do me a favor. Can you pull a campaign up? Because I want to show something. Because there's something I adjusted my campaign.
I already ditched it. Let me see.
That's okay. Listen, that's okay.
No, I got it. I got it.
And I would recommend, Mark, if you want to do something like this, this is something we kind of brainstormed on and we kind of came up with. But understanding that for everybody out there who's international, who's not in the United States, I understand. Anybody who's crowdfunding, I'm sure Mark understands this too. Shipping's a bitch, man. I get it, right? So my international shipping is between 20 and 25. So I get that. So what we decided to do is that if you scroll down to go to the International Signature Series, I think it's up. I think you passed it, Randy. I think keep going. Let's see. Right.
Signature Series.
Right under the shirt. Right under the shirt. Go to the International Signature Series.
International Signature Series.
Yeah. There you go. So we know that the shipping is going to be extra. So what I've done in the International Signature Series is I've thrown in another book, the Count Carlos issue 1, and I've also thrown in a piece of original artwork because we understand that you're going to pay. The regular people who get the Signature Series pays $25. They pay $10 shipping, right? We understand that you're going to pay the $25, then you're going to pay another $25 for shipping on top of that. So we threw in an extra book and we threw in some original artwork to help cushion the blow. So for all my international people out there, you will pay more for shipping, but we're going to throw a little extra in there. Plus, you'll get all the extra goodies. You'll get the tarot cards, the trading cards, the prints, and the lanyard packs. So for my international brothers out there, got you covered, man.
All right. God's hand.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Mark. Any last words?
Oh, man, I think we've covered it.
Good.
Absolutely, Randy.
Good. We are Indie Volt Radio. We're available at indievolt.com. You can listen to us online 24/7 when we're not podcasting. We have a great array of alternative and independent music, all programmed by the beautiful Indie Princess. And we are available at Google Play. You can pick up an app there or at the Streama app. Or if you ask Alexa nicely, she might tune you over to Indie Volt Radio. Or you can get to there from indievolt.com.
That's right.
Indie Volt Radio. We also have a Roku channel, Indie Volt TV, where Varian has all sorts of wrestling and movies of almost every type, as well as streaming some of the videos of our podcasts over there as well.
Yeah,
right.
Is there some of those podcasts a little bit longer over there too? So.
Who have what? What?
Some of those podcasts over there are a little longer too, because there's something we didn't have in the YouTube versions.
And you never know what you're going to find, so take a chance and explore Indie Volt TV on your Roku device.
Mm-hmm.
We are always looking for input. Please send your comments and questions to IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com. Please include IndieVolt Live in the subject line, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less. So when Varian feels better, he can type them out on a card and we can address them here on the show or he can read them from his bed, from his couch. And remember, there's no question or comment that's too serious or too silly, because our feedback will be better because of your setback. Hashtag get an education. Hashtag IndieVolt. And we are to be continued. We'll be back next Tuesday night for more IndieVolt nitwittery on the IndieVolt podcast. This Wednesday, will there be a Geekgasm?
No, but hopefully next week.
Sometime soon, there will be a Geekgasm run by the Indie Princess with comics and sequential art from a feminine perspective. On Thursday mornings, we have the Breakfast Buzz at 9 a.m. The Geekgasm and our IndieVolt podcast are at 9 p.m. The Breakfast Buzz is at 9 a.m. And also, I run a show on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. called the Sunday Funnies, where we talk about the lighter and more whimsical side of comics. This week, we're expecting, we're planning, hopefully if everything lines up correctly, to have a special show on our Sunday Funnies broadcast. We will have Ralph Griffith and Stuart Kerr and other members of Arrow Comics. We'll be reminiscing about Arrow Comics past, present, and future. So we hope that you tune in Sunday at 9 a.m. Other than that, I think it's about time for us to take off. The Sup-Ass Boys are packing up.
Sup-Ass Boys.
Any other thing you want everybody to know, Varian?
Nope, that's it. You covered all the bases. I'm Varian Grant. If you look up in the sky, you may see me floating by.
I'm Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter under Randy Zim. I don't twit very often, but that's how you can find me over there. I also have the Zim Geek channel on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. Feel free to pop over there, like and subscribe. And speaking of YouTube, please pop over to the IndieVolt channel over on YouTube, like and subscribe there. Hit that bell for notifications. As soon as Varian gets feeling better, I'm sure we have a whole list of special programs that we will probably be doing. Some nice exposés planned that we've been meaning to get to. Some great, fantastic announcements that you do not want to miss. So hit that bell for notifications and subscribe to the IndieVolt channel. We're still on a quest to hit over 1,000 subscribers over there so that we can worry about our YouTube censors and actually taking on super chats, which would go a long way to helping us afford all of that bandwidth. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it. Pretty much. Everyone stay safe. We will all see you back here. Thursday morning for Randy, and then
we have somebody new in the green room who wants to ask Anthony an artistic question before we leave.
Sure.
Ready, Anthony?
My goodness. How dare you?
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Just a question.
I see that it's stable finally, man. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Meantime, folks, remember,
Comics are awesome.
comics are awesome. We wish you only the best. Stay healthy. Again, to all of our radio listeners out there, we appreciate each and every one of you. And we're glad you're here. Remember us on the nines, and we'll talk to you soon. Any last words, anybody?
Hashtag no banana fingers.
Hashtag no banana fingers. Take care, everyone. Be good. We will see you soon.
Good night.
I almost went out with our opening. How do you like that? Here we go.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.